I feel like more of my books tend to come from character, but I would say all of my stories either start with one image that I've had in my head or one line that I hear, um, either a line of dialogue or something that sort of embodies the book. As an example, for the ghost tree, I just had one line, which was "Meet me by the old ghost tree," and that was it. And then, like, I was like, "Oh, I must write a book to find out what this means." I was like, "Oh, what is that? What's that house? Who are those boys?" That's how the process starts for me, is sort of me asking myself a question, um, and then writing so I can find the answer.
Would you introduce us to Paul, Jake, and Richie here as a little crew? And
Yeah, so um, Paul is Jesse Campanelli, who's the main character. That's her little brother. She's grounded. He's annoying her. And she wants to get him out of her hair. So she dares him to go into this abandoned house down the street. And he brings his two best friends with him, which are Jake and Richie. And like Jake is the one I think who is sort of a glue for the three of them. And Jake also, as the book goes on, really kind of stands in for Paul to Jesse, um, because he came out of this house. You know, her brother didn't, but he did. And Richie's family moves away. So, like, Jake loses not just one friend who's eaten by this haunted house, but he loses his other friend because the family doesn't want to stay in the neighborhood anymore. And also, Jake loses his arm when he's in the house because while the house is eating Jesse's brother, it also eats Jake's arms. So there wasn't a specific house that I referenced, but I set this book in my neighborhood, which is the Wrigleyville neighborhood of Chicago. It's Wrigleyville's not technically an official neighborhood. It's sort of the sub-neighborhood of Lakeview, but we live near Wrigley Field. And the architecture in this neighborhood is very specific. There's a lot of streets where you see kind of the same type of house over and over. You see there, we call them two flats or three flats. You know, they're multifamily homes. They're made of brick or gray stone. They have what's called the Chicago entry, which means that the porch is raised above the street level. Um, and they all kind of look the same. And that's because like these streets were developed, you know, by builders at, you know, 100, 120 years ago. I myself live in a 120-year-old gray stone. And they, you know, they basically developed a street and then they sold all the houses, right? They all look the same. And the thing that I wanted people to think about this house is that it stands out from the beginning because it doesn't look like all the other houses. It's kind of a one of these things is not like the other. And it's made of wood, which if you grew up in Chicago or if you've lived in Chicago for any length of time, you know that there's not a lot of wood houses here. And that's because we had a giant fire. I mean, I think part of it is that, you know, as kind of her own family crumbles, the she finds a family, right? And the neighbors that are on the street. And when there are people you love, you don't want to leave them behind. You know, I mean, like she could potentially protect herself, you know, and her own immediate family by leaving, but then there would be other people that she cared about who would still be there. And there's this tremendous hold that her guilt has on her that's literally tying her to this place that she did this stupid thing, this silly, silly thing. She told her brother, I dare you. So I don't outline. For me, the process of discovering the book is kind of the same way a reader would discover the book. I never really know too much ahead of where I'm writing. Um, it's working, it's kind of working in the background of my brain. Like I didn't realize that was going to happen. I think in the process of writing by hand.
how does fear, is fear like still waiting there organically around the corner as you're writing and your characters walk into it? Do you like to let that happen, or do you have an expertise with it to sort of go, okay, this is the type of scare I want, and I have to kind of I'm just wondering for someone who's a reader that's curious how that is constructed as an author is writing.
So I think that you just want to be in the moment with your character. And that's how you achieve that because, it's this book is not written from, an omniscient point of view.